I've already heard everything I need to hear. Between your prayer and your music, I've heard it all. I'm pretty full.
You can't go home. No fireplace yet.
I couldn't go home. All right. So today I'm joining with many of my colleagues. There are many churches and centers and teaching chapters and study groups around the planet, actually, who are letting today be an International Interfaith Day. And so we're not doing this alone. We have a whole lot of us doing this. Our spiritual leader, Dr. Ken Gordon, started something last year and said, hey, let's call a day and let's call it our day. And so this is the Centers for Spiritual Living Day to recognize interfaith ideas. Spiritual diversity is really what it is to me. Spiritual diversity. And it fits in with all the other kinds of diversity that we might talk about. And no matter what kind of diversity we're looking at in life, we may not understand everything. We may not agree with everything. We may not believe. I guess that we probably don't believe everything, especially when it comes to spiritual diversity. But there's a place where we can honor it. There's a place where we can celebrate it. There's a place where we can say, yes, I'm glad that people have something greater than themselves to go to turn to use on a daily basis. For me, this is it. I found nothing before this that made sense to me or that I can believe in. And I had nothing. So I honor and fully embrace this for my path. And I do my best, not always perfect, to honor others. I will admit right up at the front, there are times when my judgment gets in the way. I'm a human being just like you. So when we go through this talk, if you find yourself having any of that, you can know that you're not alone. We actually do. And I'm going to ask Debbie to tell something that she told me right before we started the service. And I didn't know it was going to be this soon, but it's time. If you'll just tell me what you told me this morning.
Okay. For years, I'm probably about 5 years of my life, I served on the Greater Huntington Beach Interfaith Council and did a lot of their music for them and helped coordinate a lot of different things. And it was great fun, but I'm here to tell you that sitting around a table with people of all different faiths and all different beliefs, that they still had their junk. And it was still the stuff that was still out there on the table. And although in a community like that where you're striving so diligently to get past and beyond, it's difficult. It's not easy. And so just to say that even in a situation like an interfaith council, there's still judgment and distrust and, oh, that person did this, that person happened. You know, and we have to make that stop somehow.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know we're trying, the world is working at it. So.
Yeah, and we're doing our best here.
I know you are. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. That actually, when I said I heard everything I need to hear today, that was one of those things. Because just to hear you say, we sit around, here we are striving to be this interfaith group and we still have our junk. That just reminds me of our humanness, and yet at the same time we are trying to get to that place of honoring and celebrating others. We're trying to get to that place, like the song said, deep down inside we don't want to go to war. Deep down inside we don't want to fight. Don't you think that even in your own immediate relationships, I don't want to be arguing with you, I love you. You know, and then we get caught. So we're saying both things. We're acknowledging our humanness, and we're working to elevate ourselves to a place where we can celebrate all in today's spiritual diversity, even when we don't understand it. Even if it's not our chosen belief, we can still say, I bless and honor what you are endeavoring to live by. It's a good thing. Obviously, as people, as human beings, need to feel connected to something greater than us, because I think since humans gained consciousness, we've been searching for, why are we here? What's the meaning of life? What do I connect to? What's this? What brought me here? All those questions. And the more intelligent we got, the more we realized there's got to be something more than just, random humanness showing up. We want to feel like we're not alone. We come together in our chosen spiritual beliefs, our chosen tribe, if you will. to feel like we're not alone and to help answer some of those questions. Some people need really strong rules, and they pick religions that have really strong rules. I prefer principles, and that's what we offer here, is principles rather than rules. Many people have had what is known as like a mystical experience, a direct inner revelation of a mystical understanding of oneness in all different faiths. It shows up in all different faiths. It's certainly not exclusive to any one. A lot of people have had that connection, they feel that connection, they want that connection. It's probably innate in our human DNA that we want to know there's something bigger going on. And we say here, there's only one source, and it's everything and everywhere and everything. How do you say everything? Listen to this cute little story. It's kind of a funny little story that speaks to the idea of there's only one thing, and that one thing, God, whatever you want to call it, is creating everything. God was once approached by a scientist who said, listen, God, we've decided we don't need you anymore. These days, we can clone people, we can transplant organs, and do all sorts of things that used to be considered miraculous. God replied, don't need me, huh? How about we put your theory to the test? Why don't we have a competition to see who can make a human being? Say, a male human being. The scientist agrees. So God declares they should do it like he did it. Okay, so God's a he in the story. That's okay. In the good old days when I created Adam. Fine, says the scientist as he bends down to scoop up a handful of dirt. Whoa, 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 says God. No, not so fast. Get your own dirt. Right? Is that a reality check? Reality check. Get your own dirt. We think that we rule the earth. Where the heck did it come from? Everything is already here on this earth. We think we dominate this earth, and I created that, and I made that. Get your own dirt. It's a really, really good reality check. That there is only one thing going on. Let me give Ernest Holmes a little tie into that. He has all kinds of things to say about interfaith ideas as well, but I had to pick a few. He says the reality, capital R reality of philosophy, because that would be the word philosophers would use, reality, the principle of science, and the God of religion all have much the same meaning. The nature of the universe in which we live. We describe it as God, spirit, reality, truth, absolute intelligence. We believe in an absolute intelligence because such an intelligence is manifest throughout the universe in which we live. Okay, so I like this. It's much the same thing. Science, religion, and philosophy have tended to battle it out about who's right and who's wrong. They've been fighting over who's right or who's wrong. It's all saying the same thing, coming at it from a different approach. And then he says, if we were to examine the basic principles of the religions of the world, we would find great similarity. You have to weed through the dogma. You have to weed through the stuff. Examine the basic principles. We're going to do that in a minute. Not all of them. Each points to one central life from whose self-existence all draw their livingness, and without which nothing could exist. Get your own dirt. Without which nothing could exist. All right? So all are basically the same thing, and yet we fight. We want to be the ones to stop fighting and instead celebrate that we are all doing the best we can to figure out our connection to something greater than ourselves. Even our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, stay open at the top. We do not have all the truth. Stay open at the top. So what I've done is I've pulled some of the, what I call the beautiful, similar teachings from just a small handful, because there's many religions. I picked a couple that either talk to me or that are maybe misunderstood a little bit. I'm going to be very brief, so don't worry, you don't have to get out your lecture notepads or anything like that. Hinduism is considered to be the oldest organized religion. It's very misunderstood. It's like misunderstood by people looking in, saying, wow, you've got all these gods, you've got all these deities. The truth underneath that is that Hindus believe in one ultimate source. All these other lesser deities, as they call them, are simply symbolic.